Good afternoon, everyone, and Happy New Year's. Welcome to another edition of Invitation to a Conversation. Today's guest is a young lady from high school. Her name is Kierra King, and she's a virtual student. Kierra King is from Brunswick, Georgia. She's a senior in high school and she attends Glenn Academy. She participates in the National Honor Society, Student Council, Beta Club, and the DECA Club. She's also a member of the GIYO Philharmonica. While being in these clubs, she has volunteered for many community services. To name a few, she has helped clean the causeway, distribute food at the mall, food drive during COVID-19, donated food to Safe Harbor, including helping to sort out the cans, and donated coloring books, markers, and a blanket to the nursing home. And her goals after graduating high school is to go to college, major in psychology, and a minor in foreign language and writing. She wants to become a psychiatrist and hopefully establish her own facility all over the United States and other countries. She wants to be more involved with giving back to the community and being involved in more charity work. Thank you. Good, impressive bio for a young lady in high school. Thank you for all your engagement and your community service.
You're welcome.
Yes. How do you participate? Did I pronounce that right? In the Philharmonica?
Philharmonic. Well, that's the Golden Owls Youth Orchestra. That's an orchestra, for the Golden Owls.
Right.
And basically, I play the cello. So yeah, that's what it
Okay.
is. It's an orchestra.
Right. So you play the cello. That's wonderful. Congratulations. And so you are a virtual student.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And my question to you is how are you in virtual school every day, Monday through Friday?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
And how many students are in virtual learning along with you?
Um, I can't really pick quite a number, but I'll say it's a good amount. It's a good amount. I know that I think the last time I checked, it was still, I think, 13,000 students enrolled in in-person school. And I forgot the number for the virtual school, but it's a good amount of students who's doing online school or virtual school.
So y'all do virtuals. Can y'all see the other students?
Like the students who are in person.
No, in virtual.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Uh, through Google Meet or Zoom.
Okay. What time does class start like regular traditional school?
Yes, ma'am. You just basically follow the same schedule as you would
Okay.
if you're going in school.
And you have your lunch break and then y'all come back?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Um, when that so are you learning the same curriculum as the students that are in hybrid school or traditional school as you are on virtual learning?
Yes, ma'am. They said that even though you are doing virtual school, you're still going to be on, I guess, the same schedule as in-person school. So if they're learning, let's say you're in math class, if you're learning about integers or whatever, then online you're going to be learning about the same thing. Nothing is different. It's still the same steps schedule.
Okay. Are the teachers from the same school district or are there teachers from other states that are teaching you all in virtual school?
For me, I have the same teacher from the same school district. So
Oh,
I would say, yeah, that.
okay. What do you what are some of the things that you dislike or like about going to virtual school?
Well, what I like about virtual school is that you're in your own comfort zone. Like you have you're in your own peace. Like you don't have to wake up and go to school, and you can just do it in your room or wherever you feel comfortable. If you want to go to Starbucks or Books a Million, then you can do it there. Basically, you're in your own zone, so you don't have to worry about, other students. You can just focus on you. And another thing that I like is that basically this is relating, but you have more personal freedom. Like I said, if you don't want to do school in your room, you can go to Starbucks or go to a park or go to Books a Million or the library and do your work. And as for dislikes, I really don't have any because I enjoy doing virtual school. It really helps. And especially if you might have anxiety with going to school, you don't have to wake up and try to brace yourself for that. You can just do it, in your own comfort, basically.
Right. You don't have to worry about the weather being cold outside. You don't have
No,
to worry about what you're going to wear today or already wore that already this week. So
right.
if they decide to have all the students go back to impersonal school, to traditional school, you would rather do it virtually opposed to
Yes,
going back to traditional school?
yes, ma'am, I would.
Oh, wow. So you think a lot. How many other students do you think feel the same way?
Mm, I know a couple of my friends, they feel the same way because, like, cases, they're increasing. They're not, staying the same. They are increasing. And then some of my friends, they have anxiety when going to school because of, all the students and being in class with a bunch of students and, due dates. Basically, if you're doing online, like I said, you're in your comfort zone. Like you don't have to worry about none of that. And
Right.
it's better to be where you can focus and do good in school instead of going to school and, maybe facing some problems that might stop you from being able to focus in school. So I know a couple of my friends really enjoy doing that and probably would rather this over going back to school
Right.
in person.
So do y'all how do they administer the tests? Um
The test, we use Google Classroom. So what they'll do is they'll post the test or quiz in Google Classroom, and whatever that the time that the class you're in, you take it during that time like you would, in person. But the thing is, you're doing it on the computer. So you'll go to Google Classroom, click on the test or quiz, whatever you have to do, and then it'll open it up, and then you just take the test or quiz.
and so if you have trouble if you have trouble in one of your subjects, how would y'all do tutoring? How would you get tutoring?
Well, I know what I did was I had emailed one of my teachers asking if we can do a Google Meet, and she said yes. So basically, if you have a problem, you can email your teacher, ask to do a Google Meet, and y'all can go over what you're having trouble on. And yeah, you can do that.
Okay, okay. What are some of the things? So how do you keep up with your the clubs that you're in school, that you will attend in school now that you're virtual?
Well, they have a group meet, so I'm in the group meet for each club, and they send out the information like community service dates, club meeting dates, what you need to have for this club. They have all of that in the group me, which is basically how I keep up with what I have to do for each different club. And I also write down stuff in my planner so that way I have it on me too in person.
Okay, all right. Um, so how is well, one good thing about being on virtual learning that you don't have to wear a mask. You're
Yes,
free from
ma'am.
wearing the mask for 7 or 8 hours a day that you're usually in school.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
and so that's kind of good. If you could make any changes to if you could make any changes to virtual learning, what would it be?
Well, I know that my school district for kids that were doing virtual learning, like they didn't offer a laptop. So basically, if you want to do virtual learning, then you'll have to get the laptop on your own. I would say that, I would have changed that by allowing students to be able to rent or loan a computer for the time being until they were able to get one of their own. Because I know for a lot of people, they might not have access to a laptop or something like that. And, they may not want to go back to in person school. They may want to do virtual learning. So I would have changed that. So that way, if the child wanted to do virtual learning, then they wouldn't have to worry about or where I'm going to get a computer from or how I'm going to do it.
Right, right, right. Oh, that sounds good. That sounds good. Um, what is your favorite? What is your favorite phrase, scripture, or experience in your young life that keeps you grounded?
I can say my favorite scripture is I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. I use that a lot because being young and stuff, you may think you may not be capable of doing something. But when I always thought of that quote, I remember, as long as I have God with me and by my side, I can do anything because He's the one who powers me to do stuff. So I always use that and, to help me, uplift me, especially if I feel like giving up and stuff. So that scripture right there, it really just it sticks with me and it always will until I die, really.
Right, wonderful. Um, what caused what made you to decide your major in psychology?
Um, so it actually started when I was on YouTube and I just clicked on a random video. It was like an old 1950s interview with a schizophrenic person. So, and for some reason that just interested me. Like it was interesting to see how that person would act and stuff and like how they would do. So basically after that, my I guess obsession with how other people's mind work and like what causes them to do what they do and what trauma they have been through and how that results in them having what they have. I guess that always or it interests me because I want to dig deeper inside of their brains and see if I can help them and you know maybe help them have if they're having struggling with life, help them have a better life with their mental health issue. So yeah.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful because I've always believed that based on a person's experience in life, that helps them choose what major or what they want to take up in college. You know what
Yes,
I'm saying?
ma'am. Yes,
Whatever,
ma'am.
whether positive or negative, it has some degree of why they picked that particular subject. Okay, if you would stand by, I will now bring in the other student. Her name is Shyama Patel.
Yes, ma'am. Do I need to turn my video on?
Yes.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
Hey, Mrs. Patel, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Um, we
I'm sorry. I know this is recording.
yes, we are. How you doing? Just calm down.
Good.
Um,
How are you?
all right. Can you tell the viewers who you are and if you're from Brunswick, Georgia, and just a little, and what grade you are and what school you go to?
Hi. My name is Shyama Patel, and I am a senior at Glen Academy. I was actually born in Canada, and I moved here to Brunswick in 7th grade. And I went to private school for 2 years at St. Francis, and then I transferred to Glen Academy because I wanted to play on a volleyball team.
Okay. All right. And what is your aspirations after high school?
I have applied to UGA and Georgia College. So my first choice is UGA, and I plan on getting a bachelor's in biology or cellular biology, and then from there getting my graduate in pharmacy.
Okay, very good. All right, today's subject is about virtual and hybrid learning. And so Miss King, Kierra King, she also attends Glenn Academy School and she goes to school virtually and you go in person. So
Yes.
I wanted students on this show so we can talk about and compare the different learning ways that you are doing. So why did you choose, or did your parents choose for you to stay in traditional schooling opposed to virtual school?
So my parents actually wanted me to stay virtual, but virtual students aren't allowed to play sports. So I chose to do in person, but actually I'm only at school for first block because I do dual enrollment. So that made my parents okay with me going to school.
Okay, and um, how many students are in each classroom?
My first block for skinny with macro, I think there are 20 or 25 students. And then my AP stats classroom is a much bigger classroom because it's in the math building. And I believe there are 15 or 20 students in there.
Okay.
But in that classroom, we're all spread out because there are more desks.
Okay. And when you all are in virtual school and you're in traditional school, are y'all able to communicate with each other back and forth from in-person school to virtual school, the students?
No, ma'am.
Okay. All right. So how is it, so how is personal, so right now during the pandemic, how has in-personal schooling changed? Is there any difference the way y'all learn, you go to school, you communicate, you socialize?
Bes- so in the hallway, the one major change is getting used to the hallway changes. So the bell schedule has changed. Odd numbered classrooms get out at certain time and even number classrooms get out at a certain time. And certain teachers act as hall monitors so classrooms you exit one way and enter from another stairway to get to the building. So there are hall monitors that make sure everyone is going the correct way, which
Okay.
was a really big difference.
All right. And how is the cafeteria set up? In are they longer? Are they shorter? Because of the social distancing.
So actually, I am only at school for first block because of National Honor Society and dual enrollment. But I do know a bunch of the girls on the volleyball team tell us that certain tables are blocked off, and then certain seats on those tables are also blocked off to maintain social distancing. And I do know before we only had A, B, and C lunch, and now they added a D lunch.
Okay. Okay. All right. So is it mandatory? I know the students have to wear masks. Is it mandatory for all the teachers to wear masks also?
I'm not exactly sure if it's mandatory, but both of my teachers wear masks at all times.
Okay. Okay. Um, so, so how do y'all think the school system will be in the future? Do you think it should stay virtual for the grades, or do you think that it should go back to traditional schooling?
In the beginning, I know a lot of students chose to do their classes through um, Georgia Virtual School. So even before the pandemic, they had the option to do virtual, but not many students chose that. Um, but now a lot more students are doing their classes through Georgia Virtual School. And I I honestly, I think because of sports, I think a lot of students chose to do in person. So I know a couple girls on the volleyball team did in person the first semester and then virtual school the next semester. So I know sports and clubs have a big influence on students' decision to do virtual or in person.
Miss King, same question.
Basically how do you, is it Shyama? Shyama?
Trauma.
Yeah, basically what she said. I feel like it all depends on you, if you play sports and what type of clubs that, basically influences if a child wants to do virtual school or go back to in-person school.
So do you think in the future that it will be a good thing to have this choice to do virtual and in-person schooling if the student wants to do it?
Yes, ma'am. It's good to have those two options because, if a child wants to do virtual school because they might not like being in the environment of going to school or the school environment, they can always have the option of still getting their education while doing it in their own comfort. And if a child wants to go back to school so they can play sports and do clubs, then it's always good to have that option too.
I think it's a good thing for it to be virtual because before the pandemic, there were a lot of things going on school campuses and things like that. So I think that it should be a choice, but I don't know if they figured out yet whether it will be a permanent thing in the future, but we'll stand by and we'll see if that's one of the decisions they make. Ms. Patel, what is your favorite phrase, scripture, or life experience as a young high school student that keeps you grounded?
I made this my senior quote: better to ask for permission than forgiveness. So basically, my freshman year geometry teacher, he used to always say this, that do your work on time, show up to class, do what you're supposed to, because to build trust and make sure that your teachers can trust you, it's easier for you, if you do need help in the future, to get help rather than have a teacher dislike you because you never do your work on time or always disrupt class. So it is better to ask for permission than forgiveness.
I like that. I like that. You could use that in your own household. Raising children. I like that. I will start with you, Ms. King. What would you like to tell the listening audience that we have not spoke about yet? What would you like to leave with them?
Basically, I would like to say, to please take what's going on in the world seriously and not as a joke, because a lot of people have lost their lives to this, family members and friends. And please continue to wear your mask and social distance, and to please avoid going to parties or large crowds. And just know that if you're struggling, you're not alone. There are a lot of people struggling, that we will all get through this, and that hopefully this all will be over so we can have some sense of normalcy back in our lives. And to just put your best foot forward. And don't let nothing get you down. Something happens, just keep it pushing. Just know that whatever happened, it happened for a reason. And if that reason was, to make you stronger, then take that, learn it, and, keep it with you. And if you're in school, continue to do good, continue to be focused, and hopefully we can have a good semester. And that's all.
That's very good. That's very good. And especially hearing it from a young adult, because other young adults need to hear that, because it's very important nowadays that young students be aware of what's going on, because this is your last year in school and you're going to be entering the adult world. So you need to be informed and aware of the choices and the decisions you have to make, like voting, understanding that system, and just be aware of what's going on in the world, period. My father used to say all the time that, you don't have to be a part of it, but just know that be aware that it's out there. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And Ms. Patel, the same question for you. What would you like to tell the viewing audience?
My advice isn't directly towards the coronavirus, but we know because of the coronavirus, we have missed a lot of high school milestones. We missed prom. We won't get a regular graduation ceremony, and we know that. But don't let certain things turn you down. Don't let certain things just ruin everything inside. You got to keep pushing. You got to keep going, because we know life is going to throw things at you all the time. And that goes on for the rest of your life. There's going to be obstacles along the way, but you can't let them bring you down. You have to keep pushing, and you have to look forward to the bigger thing, the bigger picture.
Very good. Thank you, ladies. And congratulations on what are you doing virtually and in person. And I hope you have a blessed, I hope you have a blessed graduation
Thank you.
and have a blessed new year. Thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right.
You
Thank
too.
you. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.